This program has been brought to you by Alpine Bank. Dedication you can count on and experience you can trust. Alpine Bank, member FDIC.
You're watching Durango TV News. I'm Wendy Graham-Settle. The City of Durango will ask voters on the November ballot to approve a sales and property tax increase to pay for a new police station and to maintain and improve city streets. The ballot measure seeks an increase of 5.5 mils in the property tax rate and a half-cent increase in the sales tax to generate an additional $8.7 million a year in new revenues. If approved, it will be the first time in more than 30 years that the city has increased taxes to cover general fund expenses. News Director Deborah Uroda met with Durango Mayor Sweetie Marbury and Mayor Pro Tem Melissa Youssef to discuss the tax increase in more detail.
Thank you very much, Wendy. We have Sweetie Marbury, Melissa Youssef in the studio today. When was the last time voters approved a tax increase?
Well, thank you for asking. Actually, it was 1980.
Wow.
The sales tax was at 1%, and City Council raised it to 2%. And then in 1982, there was a property tax. And that's been the last time.
So that's over 30 years.
Yes.
It's about time we discuss this. And why a tax increase now after such a dismal summer?
Well, you know, the City Council started looking at the sales tax roller coaster ride that we've been on. And the general revenue derives all of its money from sales tax. And that pays for the police department and really street improvements. The Gold King mine hurt us. And then we have $45 million going to another town shopping, and then the internet sales. And this last summer with the 416, the City Council, with lots of community input, recognized that revenues were at a real roller coaster ride. And we looked at the police department, their needs, as well as streets, curbs, gutters, alleys, and sidewalks. And we came up with the 2A ballot.
All right, and how did you decide exactly what to put in front of the voters?
We directed staff to conduct a large-scale, comprehensive public process to really get an idea of what was working and what was not working. They listened, engaged, and informed our community. We held over 4 community forums, 50 community meetings. We had 3 virtual hall surveys, 1 statistically valid survey, and in the process, over 5,000 comments received that we compiled and analyzed through this public process.
And what did you glean from all that?
What we learned is that people want us to maintain what we have. They like their quality of life in Durango, and they want us to preserve and protect it. We also learned that people are generally satisfied with city services. 75% of the residents said they are satisfied with city services. But important to the residents is that we focus on infrastructure needs, streets, sidewalks, and a new police station in particular.
All right. What happens if the ballot measure doesn't pass?
Then we face budget shortfalls. Expenses are growing faster than revenues. We're going to have to look, first of all, at the expense side of the budget and evaluate each line item for necessity. There will be cuts to services and programs, undoubtedly. We're going to have to look at staffing for our community policing, traffic enforcement units, and school resource officers. These are programs that our community residents like, so this is going to be difficult.
One of the things I find really interesting is that the property tax increase is going toward a new police station. That would really impact our future policing force, won't it, if it doesn't pass?
It will. The reality is that our police are working out of an old, rundown, and dilapidated building with inefficient space for operations. Over time, yes, this will affect our ability to attract and retain qualified police officers, especially in concert with our high cost of living.
Well, you were saying something earlier before we got on camera that Cameron Afsul said he can't hire additional police that he needs because there's not enough room for them. So it makes sense to me that if you don't have the room as Durango grows, then your police force is going to become less and less effective.
Well, that was a car dealership back in the 50s. And at one time, it housed the police department and the fire department. And then the fire department moves out, and police officers have remodeled closets to make into offices. And there's no more room for anyone to sit. The chief would like to add 8 more officers for the downtown patrol, as well as the Animas River Trail, as well as patrolling in neighborhoods, and he can't. And so it's an inefficient and it's an ineffective building in the 21st century.
And what about infrastructure projects? That's kind of a scary thing. I mean, Florida Road is a perfect example.
Florida Road's a great example. And one of the things we did learn in this community process, this public process, is that people want us to focus on our infrastructure projects, our streets, our sidewalks, stormwater drains. If this doesn't pass, and even most immediately in 2019, we will have no funds in the budget for capital improvement projects for streets. They will continue to deteriorate. And the lack of funding going forward over the long term will result in increased project costs over time, because it costs more to do complete street repairs than it does to extend the life of the streets through proper maintenance if we had the funding today.
Makes a lot of sense. Keep the roof on your house in good shape, and then you can keep the rest of the house in good shape.
Well, the road was actually, when it was bid, we thought it would be $10 million.
Florida Road.
Florida Road. And then when it came in, it was over $17 million. And that was bonded through the 205 sales tax. And
Wow.
so we've seen that as a great example of road failure.
And so we want to take care of those roads now so that we can have a strong and safe city.
Yes.
We absolutely do.
Roads, infrastructure, and city facilities. We also want to be able to do some investing in improvements needed in our other city facilities as well, including the library, Carnegie Hall, our 911 communications center, and City Hall.
Wow. I know that if it's been 30 years or more since you last passed a tax increase, it's time to take a look at it again. Well, when do the ballots come out?
Well, they drop on October the 15th, and you can mail them, but by November the 6th, you must take it down to the elections office in Bodo Park.
And any advice for us voters? It's a huge ballot filled with lots of initiatives.
I like to say, vote local first. Start at the bottom of the ballot, vote yes on 2A, and work your way up. And remember that an investment in this purpose is an investment not only in your community, but it is an investment in yourself. Everyone benefits from a strong infrastructure system.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us today. Wendy, back to you.
If voters approve the ballot measure, a homeowner with property valued at $400,000 will pay $150 more a year in property taxes. That equates to about $12.75 per month. Commercial owners with property valued at $1 million would pay about $130 more a month. The sales tax would increase purchases by 55 cents for every $100. So if you spend about $500 a month on taxable items, you will increase your bill by about $2.75 a month, or about $33 a year. To see a complete explanation of the sales and property tax proposal, visit durangogov.org.